Our speaker today hails from Colorado, but has strong ties to the sandhills of western Nebraska. He graduated from the University in Lincoln and was active on campus, holding several offices in the Sigma Chi fraternity, including president. Several years ago, he told me his bucket list included a visit to Ole Miss on game day. That came true in the fall of 2015 when he and his wife, Marta, visited the meat school and attended the LSU game. Ole Miss beat him up, including Fournette, he recalled recently. I don't remember the score, but Kelly and Treadwell were awesome. When our speaker was CEO of J. Walter Thompson, Chicago, I visited in his office, high above Michigan Avenue, where that magnificent mile meets the outer drive. Our conversations have helped me understand that he has been a major player in the culture of the United States. And the comments of members of his staff helped me understand that they knew how informed and astute he is, and that they realized what a privilege it was to work for an executive of his talents. In substantive conversations today, one gains the same conclusions. Make no mistake, he is not a Don Draper, one of the executives in Mad Men television series who worked and played in one of New York City's most prestigious ad agencies at the beginning of the 1960s. Our speaker today is not merely a great businessman with great knowledge. He is a spiritual man, a man of wisdom. He grasps the deep desires and needs of American people. His professional career has been exceptional. He is known worldwide as an uncommonly astute, strategic marketing professional. He is revered at the highest levels of integrated marketing communications. Please give a warm meat school welcome to J. Steve Davis, a native son of the Great Plains whose creativity has stimulated business worldwide.
Dean Norton, faculty, and staff of the Meat School, graduates of the School of Journalism and New Media, and graduates of Integrated Marketing Communications, family, and friends. I'm very grateful for that fine introduction, Dean. I'm also particularly thankful for three things today as I come to be here with you. First and foremost, of course, is the opportunity to witness your graduation. Your new title today, Ole Miss alum, suggests to the world that you're older, that you're wiser, and more mature than you were just yesterday. Second, visiting your beautiful, historically rich, and highly hospitable campus is such a gift to me. As Will pointed out, this is my second, and hopefully not my last, visit to Oxford. As he also pointed out, I'm a Midwesterner by birth, and an itinerant resident of so many different places. I find Oxford so winsomely attractive, beckoning for further exploration and investigation. Graduates, you are fortunate to have passed through Oxford and Ole Miss. Finally, I'm so very thankful that now I can savor saying to my well-traveled friends back in Santa Fe where I live that I have done something that they have never done. I have hobby-toddy at the Tad Pad. Imagine that. New graduates, I commend you for the hard work and sacrifice that's brought you to this moment. I'm blessed to have the opportunity to speak to you today. However, I'm a pragmatist as well. Today I face the dilemma of wanting to say something meaningful to you at your moment of special achievement. And at the same time, I have to accept certain realities. First, that after 4 or more long years of pursuing your various degrees, I have to accept that you may not be simply dying to have yet another lecture of some sort. After all, you've had people lecturing to you for ever since you matriculated here. Second, that you're hoping whatever it is you so desperately need to hear, as you patiently wait to get that coveted degree in your hand, doesn't last for more than, say, 5 or 6 minutes. And finally, that your well-deserved reputation for Southern hospitality, I can only assume that all of you truthfully want to simply get this over so you can do something else. And I've discovered, which at Ole Miss, I've come to learn sometimes involves adult beverages. So with that caveat, that we probably never fully, I have the caveat that we probably never fully understand what we think we know. But I nonetheless am excited to share with you, graduates today, 6 solid success principles, as I call them. I've been blessed to discover these over my years in my career, and I think they stand up pretty well even today. My hope is that they can be somewhat useful to you as you leave Ole Miss and embark on this great new chapter of your lives. But first, if you'll indulge me for a moment, I want to establish those experiences so you have an idea about the experience underpinning these principles I want to talk about. Will was most generous in describing my background, but I want to kind of go back to the beginning. You know, Peter Drucker, the famed management consultant and author, was known for asking his CEO clients what the vision of their business is. His most useful question was always something like this: what business are you in? And while I worked across many communication sectors, including the newspaper business, and in many different capacities, most of my work, and this is for you, dear IMC graduates, has been in the advertising business. And my answer to Drucker would be that I'm not in the advertising business, I'm in the persuasion business. Isn't that what we as communicators do? Try to persuade someone, somewhere, to do something that we want them to do, something that we have come to believe. Well, most of my work in communications consisted of getting people to think favorably about using my clients' products. More complicated now than then, but back then it was simply called marketing. Later in my career, I was blessed to have run several Silicon Valley startups based on my management experience. But my true love, the thing that made my heart beat, was the advertising business I experienced in New York, Brussels, and Chicago. The path that led me there began at the University of Nebraska, which is often mistaken for the Harvard of the Midwest. I'll say that again. As Will knows, I studied under Professor Albert C. Book, who was a legend in his own mind when it came to advertising. He was one of those meticulous and eccentric New Yorkers, tough as nails and bent on impressing anyone who would listen that he owned the secrets to effective communication, birthed only by the smartest thought leaders in New York. He had, after all, spent his own business career before becoming a professor on Madison Avenue, writing well-known, well-regarded commercials and ads for the likes of Chrysler, Pepsi, General Electric, and other famous BBDO clients. Even when I was 18 and just matriculating there, he called me Mr. Davis. Not so much out of respect, mind you, but I suspect to intimidate a young man from a small town in Nebraska whose idea of a big city was Denver, much less New York. Also, as Dean Norton knows, there was no relief from his seemingly constant criticism. Improbably, I learned to love it because it made me better. And I learned to love him in the process. He was brash, demanding, arbitrary, it would seem, but the experience of working with that type of personality, it turns out, would prepare me well for Madison Avenue, where there were, and are, this should be no surprise, no shortage of big egos. In the interim, however, Uncle Sam had other ideas. Parents in the room will remember that the United States Air Force had the United States Army had a robust hiring program for young men. I believe they called it the draft. And as a young man during the Vietnam War, I enlisted in the Air Force, became an officer. And finally, after 4 years of being an officer, I was able to follow my deferred dream flying into the world capital of advertising, New York, where I knew not a soul, but convinced that some advertising agency was going to desperately need my services. Looking back, I shudder at how naive I was, but as good fortune would have it, and timing would have it, I was hired by a well-respected big firm called Benton & Bowles. My 13 years of experience there eventually led to leadership positions and chief executive officer jobs for several large agencies and life experiences this small-town kid could only imagine. I was blessed to have the opportunity to help build some of the great and valuable brands of our times for iconic global companies. There are stories to tell, large and small, but time obviously restrains. But lest you take me too seriously, let me share just one story that was of such importance that it may one day insidiously find itself on my epitaph. When I was president of the venerable old agency, J. Walter Thompson, Chicago, it penned a famous advertising program which, in its brilliance, persuaded millions and millions of Americans to connect with their deepest, most innermost desires, the kind of thing that changes lives and builds great nations with a simple idea. With this brilliant idea, our agency tapped into the aspirational desires of a lifetime for so many people, millions. The campaign? I wish I were an Oscar Mayer Wiener. And the Wienermobile was born at that moment. So see, my young graduates, what important opportunities there are out there waiting for you, in which you'll have an opportunity to have such a profound effect on the culture. Or as Dr. Zeus would say, oh, the things that you will see and do. They're all before you. Let's talk about you. As your family, friends, and faculty come together to celebrate your accomplishments today, I join them in saying, well done. You have crossed a new threshold, and I'd like to help frame your success. Do you know that only 32% of you aged 25 and over have undergraduate degrees? And that number drops to 21% of the entire population. Did you know that only 1 of the 16, 7% of the world's citizens have undergraduate degrees? Finally, current statistics would suggest that you will earn almost double the amount each year that a high school graduate will earn. This suggests, by the way, that sometime in the distant future, you may actually be able to personally pay for your own children's visit to the library, the real library downtown. And you've been sticking your parents with those bills for years. But underneath these hopeful statistics, isn't it quite natural to have practical insecurities as you graduate? Important questions now lurk as your education here ends. How deeply am I prepared to risk my comfort as I launch my life's work? Where will I live? What relationships do I leave? And will there be others to replace them? Where are my skills and my desires best expressed? Indeed, there will be a meaningful, engaging job for me as I begin this next chapter of my journey. And the list, I suppose, goes on and on for each of you in your own unique situation. Sadly, I have no good answers to these and other important things you may be pondering. However, I have been in your shoes, in a different place and time, to be sure, and I have learned a few things that by accident, by trial, and by sheer grace, that I'm pleased to share with you in these remaining few minutes. Excuse me. I thought about the experiences I've been blessed to have over the years in this exciting, unpredictable communications business. And while I, like all of us, remain a work in progress, I want to leave you today with what I'll modestly call 6 highly likely truths to help you succeed. The first of those is that each of us are designed to serve, not to be served. Sounds obvious, doesn't it? But remarkably, so many of my clients and colleagues confirm that many suffer from an illusion, that many fall into the danger of a sort of self-absorbed expectation that the company is there for our survival and not the other way around. It doesn't work that way. And now, in this particularly uniquely connected generation, we have very slick and accomplished culprits, which under the guise of promising to connect us, somehow separate us. Consider the meanness, if you will, of selfies, Snapchat, Instagram, and Facebook, and smartphones. Did you know that on average, did you know that there are over 2 billion Facebook users who, on average, spend over an hour a day on the site? That he or she picks up and checks their Facebook account, again, on average, 47 times a day. How much of this truly connects us as people? And how much separates us? Now, there's enormous good to be had with these powerful ways of connecting these days. But ironically, what tends to connect us may also tend to disconnect us from the best of our human instincts. So in my humble opinion, this present meanness, if you will, is self-limiting. However, usness has unlimited potential for satisfying and productive return on investment. No matter which career you choose, no matter where your path takes you, which job you have, remember that each of us ultimately have customers by whose satisfaction we will be measured. So it's a good idea to think in terms of serving, a powerful propellant for a good life. Think in terms of making others look good. And serving, by the way, has a paradoxical benefit. When we serve well, we are invariably served, usually in some good and unexpected way. My second principle is that the best question frequently trumps, no pun intended here, the right answer. Many of you will actually land in a specialized communication business, but all of you will end up in a business where collaboration and understanding are critical measures of success. In my experience, those virtues begin with great questions and open many doors. My good graduates develop and nurture the skill of asking well. Andy Lack, who has spoken here before, and is the chairman of NBC News, the past CEO of Bloomberg and Sony Records, and also now a founder of Mississippi Today, spoke about what traits made him so very successful when he spoke to this graduating class a couple of years ago. He had something he described as passionate curiosity, which he described as his bread and butter. Having worked with Andy very closely early in our careers at Benton Bowles, and seeing those traits in him as a young 20-something, I can only confirm his attribute of passionate curiosity, or the art of asking well, was what he was about. So expect you'll have to earn your way to having your answers appreciated. That's just the way things work in this world, especially true as you start out on your career path. But, you'll be amazed at how effective you'll become by asking well thought out, genuine questions. In the end, the art of conversation, the art of solving problems, the art of encouragement all come from this. Especially in these early years, graduates, I recommend majoring in passionate curiosity, as Andy would say, and make having the answers a distant minor. My third piece of advice: for goodness sake, be uncommonly grateful. It seems to me that, in spite of our collective blessings and successes in this great country, we tend to be short on gratitude. I saw this unfold time and again in my career. The grateful soon left the pessimists and the complainers behind in terms of career progress and, as you might expect, general happiness. They had what has memorably been called an attitude of gratitude. I've learned that invariably those who get ahead have cultivated this virtue. I've also come to believe that gratitude is more driven by habit than by some magnificently bestowed character trait received by a lucky few souls. Habit begins with practice. So here's a small exercise in these days of deliberation, which always follow graduation, that will help inform your job search, your roommate search, building your resume, whatever your issue is. Take out a blank piece of paper and write down 10 things you're especially grateful for each day for a month. My bet is that you'll be amazed at just how easy it is to reach 300 things you're grateful for in just a month. And if you aren't sufficiently grateful now, you'll be on the road to forming the habit of gratitude to carry through your life. Now, here's a jump start that might keep you going, get you going. I, blank, Alex Lindstrom, for example, am so grateful that I didn't matriculate to some awful place like Tuscaloosa or Baton Rouge. Now see, you only have 298 more to go. In the end, gratitude, my friends, puts life challenges in context, reminds us of just how blessed we are in the scheme of things. Fourth, know the truth and love what's good. It's nothing short of amazing to know that we have access to information that's unprecedented in the history of mankind. Google can answer almost every question of historical fact, analysis, and viewpoint that you want to explore. This mind-boggling access provides worlds of opportunity for such virtuous stuff as building community, finding solutions to staggering problems, exploring different points of view. Truth is arguably more findable than ever before in the history of mankind. But in its raw power, our access to information demands discipline and discernment. Do you know what Google reports to be their 3 biggest search clusters in 2016? 1, porn. Arrest that person. 2, Powerball. Figure that one out. And 3, Hillary/Trump. Now, what does that say about us, about our highest values, about our aspirations? I think we've learned that technology has a side that shines incredible light and access to valuable information, but it can also marginalize the best and brightest within us. My point here is that this disruptively overpowering information age and the access and knowledge it provides can be liberating, but it can also be a waste of our human capacity unless we concentrate on the right stuff. In our chosen career, communications, and more fundamentally, in being truly human, do we not have the same obligation as philosophers, critics, writers, poets, and theologians to ponder eternally important questions repeatedly asked over the ages? Namely, what is true? What is good? And who can I trust? My hope for you, as you leave here today, is that the learning, study, perseverance, friendship, and faith that have seen you through this fine graduation day at Ole Miss will point you to a greater God than Google, Facebook, and Instagram can ever. Fifth, set meaningful goals to chart your path. Here's the truth about the natural gravity of business. If you don't set those goals, someone else will set them for you. And for me, that's scary. I want to set my own goals. I want to chart my own path. I want to create my own destiny in the deepest and truest part of me. One of my favorite all-time movies, I don't know how many of you have seen it, is What About Bob? It stars a clueless and clearly troubled patient, Bob, played amazingly well by Bill Murray. And at one point in the movie, Bob makes an astute observation to Leo, who is his hyperventilating, self-absorbed analyst, played by Richard Dreyfuss. At one of the most complicated junctures in the movie, Bob, in a simple way, says, "Dr. Leo, there are only two types of people in the world. Those who like Neil Diamond and those who don't." What a great line. If life were just that simple. But at the risk of mimicking Bob's oversimplification, I could experientially argue the case that there are indeed two types of people in the world of work that you are about to enter into. Those who live circumstantially and those who live intentionally. I am amazed, and you will be too, at just how few people actually know how to set goals. I don't have data on this, even Google fails me, but I comfortably bet that 95% of people have never sat down to clearly think out and write down life goals. If academia, your family, or circumstances has not prepared you for that, find a way to learn how to do so. Many know that the world conspires to give you what you desire, but then how can it know what you desire if you don't? My experience with this is that if you don't set realistic, time-stamped, heartfelt goals for yourself, that the force of business, government, relationships, even loving and supporting husbands and wives will set them for you by sheer force of gravity. And like gratitude, setting goals is a learned behavior and can be taught, practice with time. And once that's done, will become a habit. And dear graduates, may this neat new degree that you have, along with some brave new habits, bring you great satisfaction personally and professionally. Decide in this busy and distracting world you go into who you are, what you desire, and set your goals in motion to become the authentic you. You are special, you are unique, and you deserve no less. I'll close with this. My sixth and final point is that in failure and in disappointment especially, and you will have both, love yourself and live at peace with your inevitable doubts. One of life's biggest challenges. Inside every one of us, I've learned, in managing hundreds and thousands of people. And it begins at infancy and goes through full maturity. It's a lingering question. It is best framed in our relationship with a parent or parents or caretakers, but it's also reinforced by our interaction with friends, educators, institutions, and the world at large. You may be experiencing it every day as you wonder what this wonderful degree from Ole Miss will bring. If not, it will surely confront you sooner or later as you march out of here, out of Oxford, and into the marketplace. It is sometimes overt, sometimes covert. But in my experience as a leader of big businesses, as a son, a husband, a father, it is always nearby. And that question is this: am I enough? I think that you will find the answer is a resounding yes, you are enough. If you put your mind to really working at finding out who you are and why you are here. This is important, very important. You have some control over this. You have exquisite and exclusive control over being enough in your own mind, where it ultimately counts the very most. In northern New Mexico, Santa Fe, where I live and have for a number of years now, we have a wonderful cluster of 8 Native American tribes nearby, whose oral history and storytelling are profoundly beautiful to me. Let me tell you a short story as I close. I heard from this rich tradition of storytelling. An elder Native American was teaching his grandchildren about life. He said to his grandchildren, "A fight is going on inside of me. It is a terrible fight, and it is between two wolves. One wolf represents fear, anger, envy, sorrow, regret, greed, arrogance, self-pity, guilt, resentment, inferiority, lies, pride, and superiority. The other wolf stands for joy, peace, love, hope, sharing, serenity, humility, kindness, benevolence, friendship, empathy, generosity, truth, compassion, and faith. The same fight is going on inside of you and every other person too." The grandchildren thought about this for a minute, and then one child asked his grandfather, "Grandfather, which wolf will win?" The old Cherokee simply replied, "The one I feed, the one I feed." Graduates, I challenge you to rigorously examine your choices and the good and bad critics you will meet in the marketplace as you leave Ole Miss. Both you'll discover will be there and will want to influence your thinking about yourself. Then, having done that, feed what is good within you. If you do, your probability of success for actually being good at this thing called life and this pesky thing called career will be great. And somewhere deep inside your solar plexus, you will know that you are indeed enough. God bless you. As we say in Santa Fe, vaya con Dios, go with God. And remember to hug all those somebodies today who made this graduation possible for you today. And finally, hotty, toddy, and fins up.